This is another blast from the past. It's back in 2015, January. It's cold, breezy and dark, but I'm setting up my little pop-up hide on the edge of a silage bay on top of a heavy rubber mat so I don't put a hole in the cover, and hoping to shoot rooks, jackdaws and magpies coming into the sheds to feed on whatever's set out for the cattle. Of course, with conditions like this, when there's snow and ice, the ground is frozen and the birds can't get at their natural food sources so easily, they flock in big numbers into the cattle sheds for a free meal. Unfortunately, this can cause a health and safety issue with the spread of disease and also the extra cost of feeding the birds as well as your own cattle and livestock. Now, the pop-up hide I'm using is called The Bush from bushwear.com. The rifle I'm using is my Weihrauch XW97, which is a Springer. It's in 177, producing about 12 to 13 foot-pounds with a V-match tuning kit fitted into it. And I'm using RWS H&N pellets. I think they're about 8.4 grains. And the scope is a MTC 3 to 12 by 44 Mamba Lite with a one-piece sports match mount. And yes, the rifle is on my FAC because here in Northern Ireland any air rifle producing over 1 joule of energy has to be licensed. You'll probably recognise the farm from videos years ago that I done, but it's changed a good bit since then, and they don't keep as much livestock nowadays, so they don't have the same problem with pest birds, so that's why I haven't really been back again. It's still not full light yet, and the birds are already starting to come in. But I need to get my thumb out and get the shot off quicker if I'm going to get anything this morning. Gonna have to call that one a miss. I think the sound of the impact was the pellet hitting the feathers. Close, but no cigar. Not a great start for the morning. It's another big rook. I prefer taking headshots with these big birds, so let's see if I can get the wind right this time. I think we can call that successful. The sun's finally up, which is adding a welcome warmth to the air, thankfully. I usually lift the birds as I shoot them around the farmyards, if I get a lull in the action that is, as the sight of them seems to put off the other birds from landing. Another big rook, and another nice headshot. Little Willie Wagtail. You get these in and around the farmyards quite often. They don't do any harm, and I leave them well alone. This time it's a collared dove. You usually get a few pairs of these nesting around the farmyards. They're supposed to be good to eat, but they're protected in Northern Ireland for some reason, so we can't shoot them. You farce around with that camera too much and he's gonna fly. He's away. And another opportunity lost. Ah, the joys of self-filming. Though the birds do seem more nervous for some reason. Now that's more like it. So I went out and retrieved the magpie, as the birds seem nervous enough as is. And it was at this point I realised all this blood splatter about, showing up in the snow. Would this be what the birds are getting nervous of? Because they do always seem to be looking down at the ground. So I decided to rub out as much as I could to see if it changed my luck any. Another common bird you'd see about a farmyard are these little chaffinches. They don't do any harm, so again I leave them well alone. I do love the snow. It's not so great to sit in, but it's nice to look at. Things have really quietened down now in the yard, but there are still a few birds flying in and out of the sheds yet. Oh, looks like we might finally have an opportunity. It's a feral pigeon this time, and it's a wee bit more of a longer range, so I'm going to go for the heart and lung shot. I'll set him in under the trailer, out of sight with the rest of the birds. Mr. Blackbird here, all fluffed up in the cold. He's another common UK songbird. And no, you can't shoot them. That feral pigeon that flew by just landed on the roof to my right hand side. But it's a wee bit of an awkward shot for a right hander, so I decided to mount the rifle on my left shoulder. It's not a great distance away, it's only about 20 yards. It's just the awkwardness of trying to get into a shootable position. Okay, it's not going to win any long-range marksmanship awards, but I'm quite chuffed with that shot. This clip of the farmer driving by brought back a flood of emotions. He was as laid back and easygoing a gentleman you could ever meet. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us anymore. But don't worry, I'm not going to start greeting. It's just brought back a flood of good memories. Even the one when he knocked my rifle over and knocked the battery off the camera. But good times, good times. Well, the cattle's fed and the pigeons retrieved, so I settled back into the hide for a wee bit longer to see if I could get anything else. And thankfully, I got one last opportunity at another rook. Well, I think that'll do me for this morning. There's only so long you can sit in freezing damp conditions like this. Well, it's quite a meagre bag, but a mixed bag at that. But I hope you enjoyed seeing the HW97 out again, and hopefully once this worldwide pandemic's over, we'll get it out and round the farmyards for more vermin control again.